Devaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jayam Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Tiriyat Nashtaprayu Bhadreju Nityam Bhagavatasya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhagavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4 entitled Transcendental Knowledge, text 15 onwards. So last time we discussed text 14 where Krishna says, there is no work that affects me, nor do I desire, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Before that, he had described the Varnashram system that he has established, but he doesn't come under Varnashram system, and he doesn't need to do anything for fruits of work. And now he is saying, Evam gyatva kritam karma purverapi mumukshubhi guru karmeva tasmatvam purvataram kritam. All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. What understanding is that he doesn't come under any modes of nature and he doesn't do any activities for any fruitive results. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. So all the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding. So means whatever Krishna says, whatever Krishna does, it's all transcendental. And acting in this understanding, of course, one who knows his transcendental nature, he cannot do anything except serve him. So acting with this understanding, he says, you should perform your duty. Means you will also become liberated. You will not get entangled. Because Arjuna's, one of the reasons or logics he gave was, I'll commit sinful activity, then I'll have to suffer. But Krishna says, no, if you act according to my directions, you'll not get entangled. You'll be liberated, in fact. There are two classes of men. Some of them are full of polluted material things within their hearts, and some of them are materially free. So full of polluted material means so many desires, and some are materially free, no desires. Krishna consciousness is equally beneficial for both of these persons. Those who are full of dirty things can take to the line of Krishna consciousness for a gradual cleansing process, following the regulative principles of devotional service. Those who are already cleansed of the impurities may continue to act in the same Krishna consciousness, so that others may follow their exemplary activities and thereby be benefited. So, it's not that Krishna consciousness means no activity or run away from activities, but activity is done with the proper mentality, purified consciousness, and so that others may follow their exemplary activities and thereby be benefited. Foolish persons or neophytes in Krishna consciousness often want to retire from activities without having knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Arjuna also wanted to retire, wanted to run away from the battlefield. Arjuna's desire to retire from activities on the battlefield was not approved by the Lord. One need only know how to act. To retire from the activities of Krishna consciousness and to sit aloof, making a show of Krishna consciousness is less important than actually engaging in the field of activities for the sake of Krishna. See, activities are always going to be there. Activities are important. We cannot run away from activities, but what kind of activities? With what consciousness? That is what has to be understood. Just a second. So that has to be understood. So to retire from the activities of Krishna consciousness, that is never recommended. And here Prabhupada says it's less important than actually engaging in the field of activities for the sake of Krishna. Now, what are those activities that will be helped, they'll be decided by Guru, whether Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, or higher authorities. They can help us understand what activities. Arjuna is here advised to act in Krishna consciousness, following in the footsteps of the Lord's previous disciples, such as the sun god Vivaswan, as mentioned herein before. So sun god doesn't give up his activities, he works. And if he stops working, there'll be a big problem actually. So he is always working, and so do we have to be, even after understanding whole Bhagavad Gita. The Supreme Lord knows all his past activities, as well as those of persons who acted in Krishna consciousness in the past. Therefore, he recommends the act of the sun god, who learned this art from the Lord some millions of years before. All such students of Lord Krishna are mentioned here as past liberated persons, engaged in the discharge of duties allotted by Krishna. So they all are liberated. There is no bondage, entanglement when we work for Krishna. But work for Krishna, there is, it just, consciousness could be different. That's where the problem is. If we are fully Krishna conscious, then working for Krishna, that is bhakti. If we are not, and still working for Krishna, that could be karma yoga. There's a difference, bhakti yoga and karma yoga. There could be, or it could be just pious activity, depending upon our consciousness. Of course, working for Krishna, even if it is pious activity, slowly, it will lead us to purify our consciousness. So pious activity is basically that I'm doing service for Krishna, but with the mentality that I'll get back something. Or even if it is not a mentality of getting back something, but not with the but working in the sense that not to please Krishna properly, not in a sense that way. So bhakti is not that easy. We are doing some neophyte bhakti, very, very preliminary stages. Of course, as Prabhupada has explained, mango, even if it is green, it's a mango. When it is ripe, it is a mango. So in the beginning stages, we all get into bhakti with some motive, whether Artho, Krishna will explain and later on. Artho jigyasararthati, one who is distressed, they come to me. One who are curious, one who want money, they come to me. And Krishna said they all are pious people, not devotees. Devotees can also go to him when they're in distress, but the devotees only go to him when they're in distress, and they don't even ask for the removal of distress. There's a difference between devotee and punyat. But this is the process. Taking up the practical service is a process which purifies our consciousness. So here, Krishna is not telling Arjuna to retire. He said, follow the examples of liberated souls, and then you will also be liberated. Then further he says, this is very important words to understand. Kim karmeti kavya apiyatra mohita tatte karma pravakshyami yad gyatva moksha se ashubha. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. So what is karma and what is akarma? Even intelligent are bewildered, Krishna says. Action in Krishna consciousness has to be executed in accord with the examples of previous bona fide devotees. Action in Krishna consciousness has to be executed in accord with the examples of previous bona fide devotees, not on our own. They, sadhu and shastra, they really hold a very, very important position in our lives. Without their examples, we won't be able to understand. This is recommended in the 15th verse. Why such action should not be independent will be explained in the text to follow. To act in Krishna consciousness, one has to follow the leadership of authorized persons who are in a line of disciplic succession as explained in the beginning of this chapter. So this is what Krishna explained. I gave this knowledge to sun god, he gave it to his son Manu, then Ikshvaku, and then further on it came down. The system of Krishna consciousness was first narrated to the sun god. The sun god explained it to his son Manu. Manu explained it to his son Ikshvaku, and the system is current on this earth from that very remote time. Therefore, one has to follow in the footsteps of previous authorities in the line of disciplic succession. Otherwise, even the most intelligent men will be bewildered regarding the standard actions of Krishna consciousness. So that is why disciplic succession is very, very important. For this reason, the Lord decided to instruct Arjuna in Krishna consciousness directly. Why? Because the Sakale ne Mahatma Yoga Nashta Paramta, this disciplic succession line was broken somehow. Because of the direct instruction of the Lord to Arjuna, anyone who follows in the footsteps of Arjuna is certainly not bewildered. So Arjuna was bewildered by the influence of Yoga Maya of Krishna, but the idea was so that this lesson can be given again to Arjuna and through Arjuna to all of us, so we don't get bewildered. How Arjuna acted, even after listening to Bhagavad Gita, he did not say Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. Krishna never said Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. He fought this war. He fought the war with the correct consciousness as a service to Krishna. It is said that one cannot ascertain the ways of religion simply by imperfect experimental knowledge. Actually, the principles of religion can only be laid down by the Lord himself. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagvat pranitam. So one cannot ascertain the ways of religion simply by imperfect experimental knowledge. So it's not that we think I went to the cave, meditated for some time, and I think I got the real path that everybody should follow. This is what is happening these days. Everybody is making his own path instead of following what Krishna wants, what the Supreme Lord wants from us. And here Prabhupada quotes this word, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. It's from the 6th canto. And this is where Yamaraj is instructing to Yamdutas after the Ajamil incident, where he says, real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles, nor can the demigods or the leaders of Siddhaloka, to say nothing of Asuras, ordinary human beings, Vidyadhars and Charans. So nobody can lay down the principles of religion except the Supreme Lord. So that is why uh, four Vaishnava paramparas are there, because ultimately the knowledge is coming from the Lord Himself. So what Brahmaji understood from the Lord, then Brahmaji gave it down further to Vedvyasji, and Vedvyasji to, no, Brahmaji to Narad Muni to Vedvyas, and further down. And this is where our parampara comes in. Of course, some changes happened on the way, because that is why we are called Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So Madhva means Madhvacharya. He introduced some things. Actually, it becomes little uh, controversial. Controversial in the sense, yes, Baldev Vidyabhushan also says four, and Prabhupada also mentioned four Vaishnava Sampradaya, that bringing the right knowledge. But Madhvacharya himself made some changes and then came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why it's called Brahma Madhva Gaudiya. Gaudiya means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vaishnava Sampradaya. And before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually Madhendra Puri also added something. The mood of service of Krishna through gopis, and then not just through gopis, the mood of separation that was actually added by Madhendra Puri, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took it further. That was not in Brahmaji's teachings. But anyway, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Lord Himself, so we follow Him. But the principle, the major principle, that is from Brahmaji. So Prabhupada says, no one can manufacture a religious principle by imperfect speculation. One must follow in the footsteps of great authorities like Brahma, Shiva, Narad, Manu, the Kumaras, Kapila, Prahlad, Bhishma, Shukdev Goswami, Yamraj, Janak, and Bali Maharaj, because they are the Mahajans. And the Mahajans, even though they are the Mahajans means great authorities, they don't make up a system of religion. They always follow. But Kali Yuga means we make up. There's so many people saying so many things about religion, what religion is and what irreligion is, and you just follow me, and you will become God in 6 months, or there is no God, there is no form, it's all light, and all bogus, all mental speculation. By mental speculation, one cannot ascertain what is religion or self-realization. Even for self-realization, people say, oh, just go within you and you'll realize. Well, we have to have some knowledge. Going within you, you see what? I only see some darkness, that's all. How am I going to realize myself? But the way they say and the way they explain these things, it just sounds so lofty, sounds so wonderful that we say, it must be true because I cannot understand it. And it must be very, very high science. If we ever get a chance to listen to this, they call him Lord Nityananda, he is Nityananda and Yogi, whatever they want to call him. And he ran away from India because Indian police was after him. And he not created, he just created his own country. It's an island. And he has lots of rich followers. and he calls it Kailasha, and he calls himself the owner of Kailasha. And if you ever listen to his, there are YouTube videos are there. It's completely confused, completely. Cannot make head or tail out of it. But still, people are following him. For what? I don't even understand. And they're giving him money. And he's really enjoying over there, saying, this is my country. And of course, Indian government cannot go there because it's a sovereign country. So by mental speculation, one cannot ascertain what is religion or self-realization. Therefore, out of causeless mercy to his devotees, the Lord explains directly to Arjuna what action is and what inaction is. Only action performed in Krishna consciousness can deliver a person from the entanglement of material existence. Otherwise, no way possible. No matter which so-called guru promises what. Only action performed in Krishna consciousness. And this Krishna himself is saying, nobody else is saying. And this is what he says that previously also, many liberated souls have followed this and they're not entangled. And whoever followed this, even it becomes liberated. Karmano hi api bodhavyam cha vikarmana, akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gati. Gahana karmano gati. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. This is karma. People don't think they understand karma. Intricacies of action or karma are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. So action is karma, forbidden action is vikarma, and inaction is akarma. There are three. So if one is serious about liberation from material bondage, one has to understand the distinctions between action, inaction, and unauthorized actions. One has to apply oneself to such an analysis of action, reaction, and perverted actions because it's very difficult subject matter. To understand Krishna consciousness and action according to its modes, one has to learn one's relationship with the Supreme. That is, one who has learned perfectly knows that every living entity is an eternal servitor of the Lord, and that consequently one has to act in Krishna consciousness. To understand Krishna consciousness and actions according to the modes, one has to learn one's relationship with the Supreme. Without that, we cannot understand what action. That is, one who has learned perfectly knows that every living entity is an eternal servitor of the Lord, and that consequently, finally, one has to act in Krishna consciousness. The entire Bhagavad Gita is directed towards this conclusion, not towards karma yoga, not towards becoming one with the Lord, not towards Gita for management and Gita for this. No. How realization that I'm servant of Krishna and I have to act that way. Any other conclusions against this consciousness and its attendant actions are vikarmas or prohibited actions. So any other conclusions against this consciousness and its attendant actions. So attendant actions means anything that helps in that way. Are vikarmas or prohibited actions. So prohibited actions is which are mentioned in the Vedas or scriptures, things that we are not supposed to do. To understand all this, one has to associate with authorities in Krishna consciousness and learn the secret from them. This is as good as learning from the Lord directly. Otherwise, even the most intelligent persons will be bewildered. So karma refers to activities done according to Vedic injunctions. That is karma. Whatever Vedas say we do. Basically, karma means a karma kanda or something pious. So owing to performers' material desires, karma kanda is reactions. Good reactions, but reactions. And vikarma means activities prohibited in the Vedas. So means then they result in bad reactions. Now what is akarma? Akarma refers to work performed for Krishna's pleasure. So according to scriptures, yes, but performed for Krishna's pleasure. Means there is no reaction, good or bad, there is no reaction. Such work brings no material reaction, good or bad. So that is outcome. But according to Prabhupada, how he explained in his purport, karma and vikarma both are same. Good or bad, what's the point? One is still in the material world, and when we are in the material world, we'll continue to perform karma and vikarma, bad action, good action, pious activity, sinful activity, and will keep on rotating in the cycle of birth, old age, disease, death, suffering or enjoying the results of those activities. So in the end, it's just like in a prison house. If somebody is in a jail and he does some bad activities again in the jail, or he does good activities. So if he does bad activities in the jail, maybe he'll be sent to lower cell where too many and bad people are there, more bad people are there, or he can be sent to solitary confinement. Or if he does good activities in the jail, he might be given a better cell, better facilities, but he still remains in the jail. Problem is to understand how to get out of the jail. Not by breaking through. No, that we cannot do. I mean, especially in this universe, we cannot just break through the jail. So we have to find out what are the activities to do that takes us out of the jail. This is where Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, they come. That's a real Guru who gives us the knowledge by we get out of the jail and not come back in again. And this is what Prabhupada says, to understand all this, one has to associate with authorities in Krishna consciousness and learn the secret from them. Then we can understand. And this is as good as learning from the Lord directly. So to learning in the Guru Parampara, as Prabhupada says, it's as good as learning from the God directly because they don't change the message. Karmani akarmaya pashyet, karmani cha karma, akarmani yakcha karmaya, sabuddhiman manusheshu sayukta krishna akarmakrit. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Again, confusing verse. A person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma. That's for sure, because he's working to please the Lord. That's all his mood is. So he doesn't get any karmic reactions, free from the bonds of karma. His activities are all performed for Krishna. Therefore, he does not enjoy or suffer any of the effects of karma. Consequently, he is intelligent in human society, even though he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna. So, see, Krishna is trying to take Arjuna to perform his duty as Kshatriya, to fight. So he had to give this knowledge. One who sees action and inaction. Inaction means bhakti or karma. Let's understand. Action means karma. One who sees activity in bhakti, not running out of bhakti or not running out of activity is bhakti. He is an intelligent person. Means he has to work, but work in as bhakti or in Krishna consciousness, or engage in all sorts of activities for Krishna. So akarma means without reaction to work. Akarma means without reaction to work. The impersonalist ceases fruitive activities out of fear. So those are the impersonalists. They say we're not going to do anything. But we cannot remain without doing anything. The soul is very active. So that the resultant action may not be a stumbling block on the path of self-realization, but the personalist knows rightly his position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness. So one who sees action in inaction and inaction in action means he sees only bhakti in activities, or activities only related to bhakti. He doesn't see anything else. Because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys only transcendental happiness in the discharge of his service. Just like impersonalists, of course, they all have to eat to survive, and even for their meditation, they need to eat. But for them, eating is like getting into Maya. So they try to reduce their eating to almost nothing. Of course, as a principle of that, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jigva Vegam, devotees eat first. They offer whatever they prepare, or even beyond that, they prepare with love and devotion for Krishna, and whatever the prasad they eat. And Prabhupada had mentioned there that the prasad, eating prasadam gradually reduces or makes us control these urges of the tongue and the belly. Not by not eating, we can control. Because the senses are designed in such a way they go after the sense objects. So senses are going to go after. So where we can control is the sense object. And then slowly, the senses come under control. Not by, don't give any sense object to the senses. Those who are engaged in this process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. Because in this process, we are pleasing Krishna. Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, he says in Gita. Yat karoshi yadashnashi, he says, whatever you give it to me first. Impersonalists cannot understand this because they think the supreme or ultimate absolute truth has no form. So how can he even ask something eating? But devotees understand the Supreme Lord has a form, is a transcendental, beautiful form. If we have a desire to eat, it must be there in the original Supreme Lord. Everything comes from him. He is the source of everything. Because he likes to eat, we also have a desire to eat. It just, we have to change our consciousness from desiring to eat for ourselves, or then it goes to eating anything and everything. No, we have to purify the desire by cooking only what Krishna likes, what Krishna wants, and then eating. Huge difference. and sometimes devotees said, "Oh, Prabhupada, we are vegetarians." Prabhupada said, "No, no, we are not vegetarians. We are Krishna prasadamtarians. We only eat what what we offer to Krishna." In one place he even said, if Krishna says, "Give me meat," we are ready to give him meat and we will eat that afterwards, because it is prasad. Of course, Krishna doesn't say that, but the point Prabhupada was making. And then how do we know what Krishna really wants? He only, sometimes when we preach, the people argue, "Oh, Krishna only asks for patram pushpam phalam toyam. And you are preparing so many varieties. Krishna didn't ask for them." Okay. But that is where the acharyas or guru comes in. They explain what Krishna wants. We on our own cannot understand. There is a beautiful bhajan in Bengali, Bhaja Bhakta Vatsala Gaura Hari. That is a bhajan that is sung when the Lord is offered bhoga, especially Rajabhoga in the afternoon. And that is when the devotees sit down and they sing this bhajan. And the bhajan, it is explained how devotees offering different items to the Lord. So different items doesn't mean only patram, pushpam, phalam and toyam. Of course, we read in Bhagavatam and other scriptures how Yashoda Mai is offering to Krishna, what are the things that she is offering to Krishna, what things Radharani is cooking for Krishna. Because Krishna likes to eat. And as Jagannath, he really eats. Or as Govardhan, he really ate that Annakut. Annakut means a full mountain of food. So, acharyas and previous examples, scriptures tell us what Krishna likes to eat. So we prepare food accordingly, whatever he likes. And then we take it. So impersonally, because they don't believe in the form of the Lord, they cannot understand the Lord can also eat, because for them, the Lord is light or no form, void. So they don't understand this akarma. How can akarma, especially in suppose cooking and eating, how can it be akarma? But it can be. That's why Krishna says those who are intelligent, they can understand this. So the sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. So also it is explained, inaction in action refers to devotional activities or activities performed only for Krishna's pleasure. Krishna's servants receive no material reactions for their service because they act as Krishna acts or Krishna wants, without the contamination of seeking a reward for their work. Action and inaction is the opposite. A sannyasi without transcendental knowledge of Krishna may appear not to be performing work, but as a soul, he cannot avoid either activity or the entangling results of that activity. Devoid of transcendental knowledge about Krishna, he must act, but he cannot act in Krishna's service. He has no knowledge of Krishna. So he gets reactions. So I gave the example of eating. Now in eating, first we have to have, suppose we are making roti, so we have to have atta. Atta means grinding of wheat. And in the grinding of wheat, many insects are also killed. While going to the shop, atta shop, coming back, we might be walking on many insects, killing them. While cleaning in the house, we kill so many insects. Now the point is, how is there inaction in action? If it is all done as in the mood of service to Krishna. I was just watching this video, and this lady and the interviewer, they were arguing. Interviewer said, the lady said, I'm vegan. I don't like to eat animal products or where animals are hurt. And the interviewer asked her, do you eat avocados? Avocado in America and Mexico, it's a good fruit, and people use it for salad and other things also. Finally, she agreed, yes, she likes avocado. It's a vegetable or fruit, and no milk products in that. But the interviewer said, for producing avocados, the farmer or it comes through American government, they bring billions of bees. Without bees, the avocado cannot, first of all, grow and then cannot be ripened. And he said in the process, many bees are killed when they release all these bees. So you're responsible for killing of bees. So even if somebody tries to be a vegan, he cannot be away from sinful reactions. Devotees like avocados here or other fruits. We buy in bulk. Milk. Now in America, to get pure milk, it's very difficult. Every milk has vitamin D added to it out of the great intelligence of all the scientists. And vitamin D, the source of vitamin D is fish oil. So basically they're adding fish oil to the milk. Not like in India, we just go and we can go to Goshala and get milk from them. They don't add any. They add water, that's about it. But devotees went to Prabhupada. They add fish oil to milk. And to get the pure milk, it's very expensive. What to do? Prabhupada said, just make best use of the bad bargain, offer whatever you're eating, that milk to Krishna, and Krishna accept, and you can drink. That's it. It's okay. So where we see action in inaction, that is how devotees work. Because we are doing everything for service of Krishna. Even for honey, we are taking product from the bees, and in the process, many bees are killed. Many bees are killed. But honey is an ingredient in bhakti. Even for Krishna's Abhishek, honey is used, and cooking also. So many things are made out of honey. But it's offered as offered to Krishna in mode of service. It's okay. And even in fact, in the process, all the bees who have helped in collecting that honey, or even they got killed, they all get a chance to come to human life. Because Krishna has accepted their service. All those flowers also, from those pollens, bees have collected the pollen from those flowers. So those plants, the souls in those plants, they also get a chance to become human beings. So they get some Agyat Sukriti and they can carry on with bhakti. This is Krishna's science, which we don't see unless until we study the scriptures. But at the same time, we don't offer meat to the Lord. He's not asking for it. And that is a forbidden action. That is definitely the karma. So an intelligent person can see all. So this Krishna is trying to tell Arjun that you fight and you see a karma in that because you fight as a service to me. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. So that sense, well, Arjun already had that, it has to be cultivated in us so that we don't run away from devotional service, we don't shun from serving Krishna and trying to find some excuses. Rather, just serve Krishna and he will remove all reactionary elements. That's his promises. Okay, so I guess I can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Nice class, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Enjoyed thoroughly. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Martha. Chalo, you all have a safe and healthy day. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Jai
Hare
Shri
Krishna,
Jai
Prabhuji.
Srila
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna.